Alright, good morning. We are doing Unit 8, Section 2 now, the first handout, inverse functions. And we're going to be looking at determining whether the functions are inverses of each other. Okay, so we'll take a look at number 1, number 2, and maybe we'll do one of these other ones down here to see how you do. Alright, so what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to find the inverses of these functions and see if I can get the inverse or the original back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one right here and I'm going to find the inverse. Okay, so since I don't like the letter B here, I'm going to actually let this part here be y. Okay, so I'm going to write it this way: y equals 8/7 b. Okay, then I'm going to switch my variables. So b equals 8/7 y. And then at this point, solve for y. So solving for y here, I'm just going to multiply both sides by 7/8. Okay, so there's 8/7 y times it by 7/8. And over here times it by 7/8 on the b. And I notice that on the right, the 7's will cancel, the 8's will cancel, and I have y is equal to 7/8 b, which is technically my inverse. I'm going to use inverse notation for that. So then I'm going to compare. Is this equation the same then as this one? Are those two equations the same? Okay, 7/2b plus 3, and I have 7/8 b. And the answer is no, they are not. So they're not inverses of each other. Okay. Again, watch my steps as I go through them. Okay, number 2. Again, I'm just going to take I could take the top one too. Let's do the top one. Okay, so here's the top one I'm going to look at. This time I'm going to replace this just with the letter y. Okay. So over here I'm going to write down y is equal to 4 plus 10x all over 5. Then at this point I flip-flop my variables. So I have x equals 4 plus 10y over 5. And then now I solve for y. Okay, so first thing I do, I'm going to put parentheses around the 4 plus 10y. And since my 5 is on the bottom, I'm going to times both sides by 5. So that gives me 5x is equal to 4 plus 10y. The reason I do that because the 5's will cancel. 5 on the bottom with the 5 on the top. The next thing is I will, again, solving for y, subtract 4 from both sides. And don't go 5x minus 4 and get like 1x. You can't do that, because this has an x on it and this does not. I just put them underneath each other so that when I rewrite, it'll be 5x minus 4 is equal to 10y. Again, 4 minus 4 cancels, gives you 0 there. And the last step is divide through by 10. So I'm going to divide everything here by 10. The 10's will cancel. So now let's see how we did. Again, using that function inverse notation. F minus 1 stands for function inverse notation. Alright, so did I get 5x minus 4 over 10? Yes, I did. So they're sitting right there, and there it is right there. So these two are identical, so this is a definite yes. They're inverses of each other. Alright, so now I have like 4 to pick from. It doesn't really matter which one I can pick. I can do an easy one, but I'll save an easy one for you on this one. This one looks fairly easy. Let's try either 4 or 5. 5 I have more room, so let's go with 5. And I'm going to do this top one and see if I can get the bottom one. Okay, so I'm going to do that one right there. So let's see here. They use y's, so it's going to make that x for right now. So x equals 8 parentheses y minus 6 to the 4th power. Flip-flop my variables. So y equals 8 x minus 6 to the 4th power. Now in this case, so we got to be careful here, solve. Instead of solving for y, I'm actually going to solve for x. Notice these other ones I solved for y, but now I got to solve it for x since I flip-flopped them. Alright, so first thing I want to do is divide through by 8. And I get y over 8 is equal to x minus 6 to the 4th power. Okay. Now the next thing, this is going to get a little tricky here. I need to get rid of this power. So I'm going to put this all in brackets, and I'm going to put brackets around here as well. I could use parentheses, but I'll use brackets just to kind of separate it a little bit. I'm going to raise it to the 1/4 power. Both sides to the 1/4 power. So over here, 1/4 times 4, those cancel. And I get x minus 6 is equal to y over 8, all of that to the 1/4 power. And then I'm going to add 6 to both sides. Final thing is to add 6. So I get this final answer is y over 8 to the 1/4 power plus 6 is equal to x, which would be my inverse. Okay, so my inverse -1 minus 1 inverse. So now I want to compare. Does this answer equal that answer? No, because this is a division, y over 8, and this is a multiplication of 8 times y. So my answer here is a definite no. They are not the same. Okay. All right, now going on, 7 through 12, they want you to find the inverse of each function. And basically what you're doing here is the exact same thing we did above in number 1, 2, and 5. So I'm just going to do a couple down here and then let you do some on your own and check your answers. So this one, I'm just going to go with y equals 3 over 7k minus 7. Then I'm going to flip-flop my variables. So it's going to be k equals 3/7 y minus 7. Okay. And at this point, I'm going to solve for y. Again, notice it's the exact same stuff you were doing earlier. Okay, just in a different format. Here you're not going to compare equations, you're just going to get the inverse. So first thing I would do is I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Okay, and I'm going to rewrite that answer up here. So I have k plus 7 is equal to 3/7 y. And at this stage I need to get rid of the 3/7, which means I'm going to multiply by 7 over 3. Now over here I notice I have 2 items. So I'm going to put that in parentheses and put my 7 over 3 in front. Okay. So on the right side, the 7's will cancel, the 3's will cancel. So you have y is equal to then 7 over 3, parentheses k plus 7. And you're done. So you can rewrite that as the inverse notation, technically, right here. So f inverse of k is this answer right here. Okay. Alright, let's go on. Let's try number 10. I like to use the variable y a lot, so we're just going to let y equals s minus 5 squared. Okay, flip-flop my variables, so s equals y minus 5, all of it squared. And now again at this stage, solve for y. Okay, so the first thing I would do, let's see, I'll rewrite this up here for a moment so we can see the work involved. S equals parentheses y minus 5 squared is I'm going to square root both sides. So square rooting both sides, the square root and the square cancel each other. So I can cross those out. So I have the square root of s is equal to y minus 5. Okay. Now from here, all we have to do is add 5 to both sides and we'll be in good shape. Okay. So that's all I'm going to do. Add 5, add 5. So my final answer is the square root of s plus 5, again separate from the square root symbol, that equals y, which equals my inverse, again using inverse notation, of s. So there's my final answer right here. So you're all set. Okay. So the rest of them I'll let you do on your own until you get good habit of checking your work and seeing how you're doing.